Hello and welcome to Byjus Exam Prep IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Before we look into our practice questions today, a gentle reminder about the explained session. As part of our weekly current affairs session, today's topic would be I to U to Summit. So please do tune in live on our YouTube channel at 8 p.m. to understand everything about this topic. Let's get started and look into the first practice question. Consider the following statements with respect to Kalbelia. The Kalbelia are a snake charming tribe in Rajasthan. Kalbelia dance and songs are now in UNESCO's representative list of intangible cultural heritage. Which of the statements given above are correct? The answer to this is both. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to the Kalbelia community. Let us try and understand what are these options. When we speak about Kalbelias, the Kalbelias are the people who live in the state of Rajasthan. This is very important from the preliminary examination point of view. These are known as the snake charmers. Their main occupation is that of catching the snakes and trading the snake venom, and they are also called as sappers or the snake charmers. So the first option is right. When we look into the second statement, Kalbelia dance and songs are now in UNESCO's representative list of the intangible cultural heritage. This is the right statement. It is the women who engage in dance and it is the men who accompany them with the kanjari percussion instrument as well as a pungi, which happens to be a woodwind instrument traditionally played to capture the snake. So remember, Kalbelia dance is a dance of the Kalbelia tribe and they are present in the state of Rajasthan. Now let's look into the next practice question. With respect to Kathak, which of the following statements are correct? Kathak is the only form of classical dance wedded to Hindustani or the North Indian music. It is the only classical dance of India having links with the Muslim culture. It represents a unique synthesis of Hindu and Muslim genius in an art. The 19th century saw the golden age of Kathak under the patronage of Sadat Ali Khan. Which of the statements are right? The answer to this is 1 and 2 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to the Kathak dance. Let us try and understand what are the options. When we look into the first option, Kathak is the only form of classical dance wedded to Hindustani or the North Indian music. This is the right statement. It is the only classical dance of India having links with Muslim culture. It represents a unique synthesis of Hindu and Muslim genius in art. This statement is also right as well. But when it comes to the third statement, the 19th century saw the golden age of Kathak. Yes, this is right, but not under the patronage of Sadat Ali Khan, but instead it was Wajid Ali Shah. When we speak about Kathak, it is rooted in Natya Shastra, an ancient Sanskrit text written by Bharata Muni. The three chief sections of the Kathak dance are invocation, where the artist offers his or her prayer or salutation to his or her guru and to the god. Nritya, pure dance portrayed by the artist. He or she starts with slow and graceful movements of the neck, wrists and eyebrows. This is followed by fast sequences according to the bowls. A bowl is a short sequence of rhythmic pattern. Here the artist displays energetic footwork also. Nritya, here the artist showcases a story or theme through gestures, expressions, slow body movements accompanied by vocal and instrumental music. So the word Kathak is derived from the word Katha, which means a story. So Kathakars or the storytellers are people who narrate stories to the people. Since they are narrating stories through a dance format, it is called as Kathak dance. As we initially discussed, the 19th century saw the golden age of Kathak under the patronage of Wajid Ali Shah, who happened to be the last Nawab of Oudh, and he established what is called as Lucknow Gharana with its strong accent on bhava, which happens to be the expression of moods and emotions. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which amongst the following are examples of Tata Vadya? Iktara, Jhanj, Kamaicha, Sarod and Shehnai. The answer to this is 1, 3 and 4 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to the Sarad. Because this article makes a reference to the Sarad, we have taken this practice question. When we speak about Tata Vaidya, what do we understand by Tata Vaidya? This happens to be a stringed instrument. There are other types of instruments, Sushiravada, which happens to be the wind instrument. Then we have Gana Vadya, which happens to be solid instruments which do not require tuning. Then we have Avanada Vada, which happens to be percussion instruments. If we look into this practice question, we have Ektara, Kamaicha as well as Sarod, which happens to be the Tata Vadya. So what is this? First, what we have is Ektara. This happens to be a one string musical instrument. The Ektara is common instrument in ball music where in the state of West Bengal. Then what we have is Kamaicha. This is played by Mangayars in western Rajasthan. So this is usually played in the state of Rajasthan. And finally, what we have is Sarod. Sarod happens to be a string instrument basically used in the Hindustani music in the Indian subcontinent, and the word Sarod itself translates to beautiful sound or melody in Persian. Remember, these are the three string instruments, the others are not. As part of the assignment, you have to put on the comment section what is this Janj as well as the Shenai, which instrument it belongs to. Please put it on the comment section. Now let's look into the next practice question. With respect to Thanjavur Maratha kingdom, which of the following statements are correct? Venkoji was the founder of the dynasty. Sarfoji II was the last Maratha ruler of Thanjavur. Sarfoji II authored famous works like Kumara Sambhava Champu, Mudra Rakshasa Chaya, Devendra Kuruvanji, and introduced Western musical instruments like clarinet and violin in the Carnatic music. Thanjavur was annexed by British as per the provisions of the doctrine of lapse. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is 1, 3 and 4 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to Raja Sarfoji and his son Shivaji. If we look into the practice question, yes, the first statement is right. Venkoji was the founder of the Thanjavur Maratha kingdom. The second statement is wrong. That is because Sarfoji II was not the last Maratha ruler of Thanjavur, but instead it happens to be Shivaji. It is not Raja Sarfoji, but it happens to be Shivaji. So the second statement is wrong. When we look into the third statement, it is right. Sarfoji authored famous works like Kumara Sambhava Champu, Mudra Rakshasa Chaya, Devendra Kuruvanji, and it was he who also introduced Western musical instruments like clarinet and violin in the Carnatic music. So the third statement is right. When you look into the fourth statement, Thanjavur was annexed by British as per the provisions of the doctrine of lapse. This statement is also right. What do we mean by it? It means that Shivaji did not have the male heir as well, and as a result, according to the doctrine of lapse, since he did not have the male heir progeny to continue, this dynasty was taken away as part of the principle of doctrine of lapse. So the Marathas ruled Thanjavur between 1676 and 1855 when Lord Dalhousie annexed the kingdom under the doctrine of lapse. So it is this that we have to understand with respect to this article. Now let's look into the next practice question. In India, which one of the following compiles information on industrial disputes, closures, retrenchments and layoffs in factories employing workforce? Central Statistics Office, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Labour Bureau, National Technical Manpower Information System. The answer to this is Labour Bureau. Labour Bureau happens to be an attached office under the Ministry of Labour and Employment. This was initially set up back in the year 1946. So we have the Departments of Labour in states and regional labour commissioners who collect the basic information from all the affected units, and ultimately it is they who compile the information on the industrial disputes. So it is the Labour Bureau which has got the work of compilation, collection, analysis, dissemination of all the statistics with respect to the labor data. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is India Innovation Index. Let us try and understand what is this Innovation Index all about. What do we understand by innovation? Whenever we speak about innovation, it is coming up with a new idea. It is coming up with a new product, process or service, basically to improve the efficiency of the existing product or to improvise on the existing process so that consumers are benefited from this particular product or the process. So innovation is nothing but coming up with a new product or process. What is this India Innovation Index? We have multiple states and union territories in India. Each of the state have their own industrial policies. They also invest certain amount of money into the research and development. How are the states able to do it? Which state is performing better? How are these states able to develop while other states are not able to? What are the opportunities that they have created and what are the challenges with respect to other states? All of this will be looked into, and ultimately a report or an index will be given, which is called as the India Innovation Index. So the objective of India Innovation Index is to scrutinize the innovation capacity and performance of all Indian states and the union territories. This is prepared by Niti Aayog and the Institute for Competitiveness. When we look into the year 2020, where the second edition was released, it took into picture as many as 36 indicators for this year. That is, for the 2021 index, what they have taken into consideration is about 66 indicators. So the index provides an extensive framework for the constant evaluation of innovation system in the Indian states and union territories. This can be categorized into three broad functions. What are those? Rank all the states and union territories based on their index score, identify opportunities and challenges, assist in modifying governmental policies to foster innovation. This is based on 5 enabler pillars and 2 performance pillars. Which are these 5 enabler pillars? Human capital, investment, knowledge workers, business environment, safety and legal environment. And when it comes to performance pillars, it takes into viewpoint knowledge output as well as knowledge diffusion. These are the pillars, and on the basis of which what the Niti Aayog has been able to do is provide ranking to the states and union territories. This has been broadly categorized into major states, northeast and hill states, as well as union territory and city states. If we look into the ranking, Karnataka has backed the top ranking when it comes to Niti Aayog's India Innovation Index. So we have Karnataka at top, followed by Telangana, followed by Haryana, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and at the bottom what we have is Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Bihar, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. This is for the major states. Then what we also have is the northeastern and the hill states. If you consider the northeast and hill states, what we have at top is Manipur, followed by Uttarakhand, Meghalaya, and in the union territories we have Chandigarh, Delhi, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. But this article currently goes on to say that as per Niti Aayog, it has also come up with certain recommendations for all the states which have not been performing well. What are these recommendations? One, you have to increase the gross domestic expenditure on the research and development. You have to promote private sector participation in the research and development, and also close the gap between the industry as well as the academia. What do we mean by it? They read something else in their syllabus, but that is not effectively used when it comes to the industrial application. So whatever is being studied, the syllabus that is defined has to be same in the curriculum so that it can also be used at the industrial level. So bridging the gap between the industry as well as the education system is what the states have to do, is some of the recommendations. And when it comes to promoting private sector participation, it has also taken into picture that there are multiple countries like South Korea, USA and Germany where the presence of private players is quite evident. So we have to push, nurture, encourage these private sectors so that they also put in their money in the research and development. And finally, it has also requested the states that you have to pump in more money as well, increase gross domestic expenditure on the research and development. If we are able to do so, what you will be able to minimize is on the challenges front, and ultimately you will be able to improvise on your ranking, is what is this India Innovation Index all about. It is this that we have to understand with respect to this article. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.